In 1978, China was poor, isolated, and broken. No skyscrapers, no tech giants, no global power. And yet, that was the year China made a decision that would quietly reshape the global economy, rewrite the balance of world power, and change how nations rise forever. No war, no invasion, no announcement to the world. Just 1 year, one leader, one dangerous idea. This is the true story of the year China quietly began to overtake the world. Before 1978, China was not a rising power, it was struggling to survive. Decades of rigid central planning, failed economic experiments, and political chaos had left the country poor and isolated. Farmers were starving, factories were inefficient, innovation was discouraged. The Cultural Revolution had shattered trust, education, and productivity. China had people, China had land, but it had no momentum. Most of the world had already written China off. And that's exactly why what happened next was so dangerous and so brilliant. Enter Deng Xiaoping. Deng was not a flashy leader. He didn't give dramatic speeches. He didn't promise overnight miracles. In fact, Deng had been purged from power twice. But he understood something few leaders ever do. Ideology doesn't feed people, results do. In 1978, Deng rose to power with a simple goal: let China get rich. That sentence alone was revolutionary. Because until then, getting rich was considered suspicious, even dangerous. Deng was about to break the rules without officially breaking them. In December 1978, China held a meeting most people outside the country never noticed. No global headlines, no breaking news, but inside that room, China made a silent pivot. The government decided to allow farmers to keep surplus food, encourage productivity instead of punishment, experiment with markets quietly, and open small doors to foreign investment. Deng famously said, "It doesn't matter whether a cat is black or white, as long as it catches mice." That was the moment ideology lost its grip. Pragmatism took over, and China began moving slowly, deliberately, strategically. The first experiment didn't start in cities, it started in villages. Farmers were allowed to grow more than required and sell the excess. The result, food production exploded. For the first time in decades, people had incentives. Work harder meant living better. The government watched closely. When it worked, they didn't panic, they expanded it. This was China's new strategy: test quietly, expand slowly, never announce too much. Next came the masterstroke. China created special economic zones, places like Shenzhen, once a fishing village. These zones allowed foreign companies, capitalist-style production, and export-driven growth. But here's the genius part: China didn't change the whole system, it created controlled exceptions. If it failed, it could be shut down. If it worked, it could be copied. Shenzhen didn't fail, it exploded. Today, it's a megacity and tech powerhouse. In 1978, it was almost nothing. While the West debated politics, China focused on factories. While others chased headlines, China chased supply chains. The world saw cheap labor. China saw leverage, factories multiplied. Exports surged, skills accumulated. China wasn't trying to dominate overnight. It was trying to learn faster than everyone else. And by the time the world noticed, the foundation was already laid. 1978 wasn't about wealth, it was about direction. That year, China chose long-term thinking over short-term pride, economic power over ideological purity, and patience over applause. It didn't shout, it positioned. Every skyscraper today, every Chinese tech giant, every global supply chain shock, it all traces back to that quiet year. China's rise teaches a hard truth: nations don't rise through noise, they rise through strategy. 1978 was the year China stopped arguing with reality and started working with it. And while the world wasn't paying attention, China was preparing. That's how history changes, not with explosions, but with decisions. Thanks for watching. If you found this story fascinating, be sure to subscribe for more.